Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Voice of College Football on Notre Dame, on the Voice of College Football platform. So we are new. I know Patrick Preverty has his show on Mondays. So this is a new show that we'll be doing Tuesday evenings. Right now, 4 p.m. Central Time. But we will be moving it later once we get to mid-July. But I want to get you guys introduced to all of us. I am your host, Ryan Fravel. To my left, or to my right, I should say, is Sean at ND Forever on Twitter. And we got my boy Ben down below. So, guys, how are you doing? It's first show. Let's get this thing rolling.
Yeah, great. For those who are watching, recognize, Ryan and I have done the gold standard for about 2 years now. So Ben is the new addition to this new platform, Voice of College Football, that we're doing. So we're excited to have him, and I'm excited to get rolling.
Yep, for sure. So Ben, you're new here. What's up?
What's up, guys? I'm Ben. Twitter handle BenMunior1 if you want to go give it a follow. Just I've been Notre Dame fan for a while now, and just started doing stuff with Fravel, and then of course Indy Forever. Been following him for a little bit. Was one of the first guys I followed on Twitter. He led me to somehow I followed Fravel. I don't know how I went wrong, but we're all good.
Yeah. So for some of you that have kind of followed up, over from, the Gold Standard show that me and Sean had done, you may know us, but for those who don't, I'm a guy that is not an insider, is not a, what do you call it, reporter, is like people say that I do. I am a huge Notre Dame fan. Obviously, for me, I'm a fourth-generation Notre Dame fan. Great-grandparents came from Ireland originally. So kind of didn't really have a choice. Sean, I'm not too familiar about how you became a Notre Dame fan.
Yeah, I was born at, my dad grew up a big Notre Dame fan, right? And he was a very diehard Notre Dame fan. He relaxed as he got older, but he was pretty diehard, yelling at the TV and stuff like that. But you grew up watching Brady Quinn, you grew up watching Notre Dame every weekend. It rubbed off, and it just stuck, and that's how I became a Notre Dame fan. Just my dad. Yeah. All my life I've been a fan, though, so
yeah,
it's just waiting for them to win the national championship is still being patient about it. To be honest, I tell my wife, we talk about, are you ready for the season? I said, this was a much needed off season. I'm still a little hurt from the championship game, so I need this time to get hype again,
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So really quick, since we're doing the introductions already, favorite player, Notre Dame player of all time, and favorite moment of any game that you've watched as a Notre Dame fan. Whoever wants to go first.
Ben.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Favorite player? I gotta go with Isaiah Foskey. The way that guy, something about the kids that want to play special teams, it just gets my heartstrings going a little bit. He's willing to go out there and play special teams, and he was a big player for us those seasons. Favorite play? Definitely my first ever Notre Dame game, big Notre Dame game as a kid, Pittsburgh. I think it was 2016, 2018 we made the playoffs that year?
Yeah, 2018.
2018. I just remember, you're down that whole game, and then Ian Book just gives the Miles Boykins down there somewhere throw. Miles Boykin takes the lead against Pittsburgh. That's probably my favorite play as a Notre Dame fan.
I'm getting hyped. All right, you go, Ryan.
All right, so my favorite players, I'm obviously a little older than Ben, but not by much, but a little bit.
Me too. I felt old when you said Isaiah Foskey. I was like, oh my god.
My favorite.
Okay, here. Tavion Clowney. Is that better? Or Coney? Is that better answer? Yeah, there you go. Is that better for age?
Yeah, that's better. I gotta go Golden Tate. Golden Tate is by far and away my favorite Notre Dame player of all time. Not only because he was just, an awesome player, but the amount of trash talking that he did and the amount of the level of swag that he brought to Notre Dame, even though he had bad teams around him most years. I still remember that him scoring a touchdown against Michigan State and then immediately just hopping into the Michigan State band. But yeah, John.
All right, and your favorite moment? That's the band?
Favorite moment. Favorite moment is for me. It's not going to be like a big play that I've watched, but like getting the storm in the field.
Yeah,
against USC in 23.
Yeah,
that was my favorite.
That's where we met.
The best moment. Yeah, that was where we met, actually, ironically.
All right, so I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to go offense, defense, and then I'll go favorite moment live and favorite moment ever. So defensively and all time, Manti Te'o. He was just different. I don't think I'll ever see a defensive player as good as him in college football ever again. So, honorable mention, Everett Golson. But Michael Floyd for offense. I was a big Michael Floyd fan. So that was one for me. And then favorite moments, probably TV-wise, that Stanford goal line stop was pretty electric. But in person, storming the field is definitely that moment, but also seeing them play in the national championship live in person is.
I forgot that we were both there in person.
Yep. So seeing them play in the Natty in a 1-score game with 2 minutes left, you can't ask for anything better than that except for winning. So.
You guys make me feel young with your guys' favorite players. Jeez. Make me feel like I'm 12.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. So we already got the introduction out of the way. I want to shout out, our first commenter of the day. Jackson, appreciate you turning in, man. And then an interesting comment. We land O'Brien. That'll lead us into our next topic. Notre Dame recruiting. That me and Sean are accustomed to it, and Marcus is as well as of recently. But just Notre Dame had their huge recruiting weekend this weekend, and everything that's kind of came out seems like we're going to get every single kid that was there. Now, me and Ben have talked about this privately.
We've been burned.
9 for 9.
9 for 9.
Notre, we're better than this. Smarter than this as a Notre Dame fan base. That's not realistic. Because Sean, I believe you and me did our show with the Derek Meadows and Duce Knight stuff last year.
Derek Meadows, I had a golden brick in for him. So
yeah, you did. You did. Oh, by the way, Ben, we had this thing on our show where for predictions, Sean was like, we should call it putting in a brick, like laying a brick.
And then every time the prediction or confidence goes up, I think the golden brick for us to land Derek Meadows is a 6. Next episode, we're getting bricked up. He's an 8 now.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. That might have to be a segment. Bricked up.
The bricked up segment. The bricked up play of the week.
But, yeah, I agree with you. I think that, we'd be oblivious to the fact that we're not going 9 for 9. But you land at least 6 to 7 of them. Your blue chip ratio for this class is going to be probably the best we've had in the last 10 years. So,
yeah.
It was a solid weekend. You can't ask for it to have gone any better.
Yeah.
So, Ben, what are your thoughts? I know you told me privately, but the 9 for 9 stuff, I just can't see happening.
If we go 9 for 9, just hang up the Natty banner. At that point, it's guaranteed at that point because that's the only way. God's just looking down and saying, "Here you go, take it." But I think we're gonna get. I think 7 for 9 is definitely a possibility. 9 for 9 is not going to happen. I've already heard about some guys probably not going to go in Notre Dame, and if you hear that after a visit like that, it's not that good. But
Yeah.
one guy I really like is the Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Mother Fitzgerald's son. I think I like that a lot for one of two reasons. One, he goes there. I think we get Kadon Finley. I would just mark it in the books because if one NFL legend's son goes there, another legend son's going to go there. Happens a decent amount of the time. And Notre Dame's
Yeah.
slowly becoming one of those schools. If we want to get into that, we can.
Yeah. So what I'll do actually, we can go by some like top guys one by one. Let's start first with Devin Fitzgerald because I kind of do want to talk about that. That was a guy that just recently got predicted to Notre Dame. I believe by Wilfong and Singer at this point. He's receiver from Brophy Prep, the home of Cree Thomas, Ben Morrison. So you've got that connection already if you're Notre Dame. But how do we feel about this? Do we feel like he's pretty much already decided? I know that we all feel pretty good about him going to Notre Dame. I know Stanford and Clemson are other two teams. I know he canceled his UNC visit today. How do we feel?
I'm bricked up. I mean, it's. I mean, y'all know. I told y'all. I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan and a Notre Dame fan. So the best Arizona Cardinals player of all time, his son going to Notre Dame is like, who would have thought? Felt like something that was never happening. So he's going to be if he commits to Notre Dame and goes to Notre Dame, as we think he will, he's going to be an instant threat. I mean, he's going to probably, within his first or second year, start outside. I don't see him as a slot guy. He'll definitely be like his father late in his career went into the slot, right?
Yeah.
But I see him as more of like that outside hands threat, kind of like a Claypool vibe. So I think that he is going to make an immediate impact for us. And I'm hoping every time I see it, I keep showing my wife, I'm like, Larry Fitzgerald's kid. We just moved to Arizona, so I feel like, you got to have some type of maybe he knows we moved there and we're Notre Dame fans, so that's why he's committing. I don't know.
Yeah. I do think, and I agree with your take on him. I do think he's going to be a good receiver at the college level. My thing with him and his recruitment is because recently it's kind of blown up within the last, I feel like, month maybe with Notre Dame. I know Notre Dame was an offer that he was waiting on for quite a while, right? But I always wondered with him, and because I didn't really turn on his tape too much, but every time there's a legacy kid, especially an NFL legacy of a guy that's, and especially an NFL Hall of Famer, there are times where those kids aren't as good as their father. Right. And some of them they're lowly rated or they're higher rated because of the last name. I don't think that with Devin Fitzgerald. I watched his tape and I was like confused almost why Notre Dame didn't offer him, especially with the NFLU, that thing that's been starting with Freeman here. But yeah, I mean, I genuinely like this kid and his fundamentals. I think the point of attack, on the catch point. Kid's got great catch radius and great hands. I believe there's a play earlier on in this tape where he just flat out mossed a guy. Like, I don't really remember too many times where Fitzgerald was mossing. It's just more he was just cutting, putting people in a blender. But yeah, Ben, your thoughts?
Yeah, the Fitzgerald, his big thing is he just canceled his visit to UNC, so he took one unofficial visit, if I'm correct here, after he got offered.
Yep.
And to cancel a visit like that, you would think that they'd be out of the running. It would be a very odd to cancel the visit of a school that you want to go to. So after just taking one unofficial visit, so I think that we could say that we're definitely in. Is he still visiting Clemson before his commitment date?
I
don't know.
I don't think so.
He already did. I believe he already did. Yeah.
And I think his commitment date is it was never planned to be this early, right?
Yeah, but he's doing one big thing about him canceling the UNC and taking UNC out of the race is that they have a coach who's going to be able to be like, hey, you want to go to the pros? which of course he wants to. He's Larry Fitzgerald's kid. You know, Fitz has got to tell him, hey, like you can be a pro player. Like if you hear it from Larry Fitzgerald, you're gonna take it at like solid gold, and you're gonna run with it.
Yeah.
So him canceling that visit's pretty big. If so, what it's down to us, Stanford or Clemson, realistically. So I could see, and like I said, I think if we get Fitzgerald, I think we get Jesus, we get Kadon, and then we are pretty clear there. Because once you get one kid, usually the other comes, and it sounds like that's kind of what's happening here. They have a good connection. I've heard a lot about how on the visits they made the wide receivers all linked up, and they were all pretty good together. So, and then of course, you know, he's a dog. Like just looking at those highlights we showed.
I think that, you know, like something to think about too is I do feel like in a sense that mannerisms or in terms of how you hold yourself, Freeman and Fitzgerald are similar in a sense. They can be, when it's time for a football game to come on, they're ready and it's time. But like outside of football, they're more of a relaxed, laid back type vibe. So I think that could be something too with the Freeman aspect. But I mean, you talk about, you know, Fitzgerald. I mean, he had more tackles in his career than he had drops. And you don't think that his son is training like his dad? Like, he's not going to drop the ball often. So, I mean, he could be somebody that I think that he will be. I mean, by then we'll have like a great house drafted or something, but he's got the potential to be like a first to third round pick at Notre Dame.
100%. So next up, let's talk about Kadon Finley. By far and away the biggest receiver on the board. Probably the biggest, offensive target in the class, just because of the positional need and everything like that. How we feel? Well, I mean, for me, I've said this multiple times. Just the vibe I get, I think Kadon wants to be at Notre Dame. But I think the pull from his dad being a Texas legacy and the fact that Texas gets his final OV this weekend, it makes me very worried about this recruitment. Do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not confident in this one. I mean, I think it all depends on Fitzgerald and if he can pull him, like Ben was saying. But being a Texas legacy, your father going to Texas getting the last OV, it's great right now coming off the visit, but a week from now things could change. So I'm kind of waiting until after the Texas visit to really see what his cards are.
Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, the big thing with Finley is, like we say, he's a Texas. He's got to be a legacy there, and we aren't really gonna hear that much about it until he actually goes through and does his visit. And July 4th is his scheduled commitment, so of course, and you know, depending on how the Texas visit goes, maybe we'll know. Like maybe he doesn't like Texas. Maybe we get a Mike Singer article Monday morning after the visit saying, "Oh, like he didn't like Texas," or we're hearing that Texas didn't really blow him out of the water, or maybe we get an article saying like Texas seems like they got it, like they make great connections. That's one thing. Texas is always a team that makes great connections with young wide receivers when it comes to recruits and players. So we'll see how that goes. I think like I said, and like Sean said, it's all about if we can get Fitzgerald in my mind, or it's a good amount if we can get Fitzgerald, and if we can get both of them, then that's a big thing coming for our class. We get two best wide receivers that we're looking at, pair wide receivers that we're looking at there.
I mean, NFL legacies. I mean, under Freeman, it's just every single year, I feel like we get someone that's the son of an NFL future Hall of Famer or talent. Like, it's insane. It's insane. It's the new normal. It also makes me feel old. But
yeah. With Kadon, right? I mean, I think he plays a lot like Greathouse. but obviously he's bigger. I believe he's like 6'2". He's got the route running capability of Greathouse, the hands of same elite level hands as Fitzgerald does. If you can get Kadon, and I know when he was on his visit, Greathouse wasn't. I believe it was Greathouse. Greathouse and KK Smith were his host for his official visit. If there's a kid that could explain, being from that Texas area, having Texas be like the last school you see before you commit, it would be Greathouse. I just think if you're Mike Brown, there's a lot of people in the fan base right now that Mike Brown does not have a secure job right now. And I think you have to. This is a kid that you have to get any means necessary.
I don't.
I don't think this is going to save Mike Brown's job, getting these kids. I think it's got to be the production on the field.
I think he just needs to land at least one of them.
Yeah.
But I think that the production on the field is the main thing. I think that he hasn't really had a chance to show the development of his receivers except for late run with Greathouse. Now being in an offense, now with Carr, this is really going to be Menchie, but Carr. We're going to really see if these receivers have taken the next step and whether or not he should keep his job, right? If we get a 1,000-yard receiver, you're safe. That's my thing. We haven't had one so long. I just think for his job to be safe, he needs to land one of these guys. It's recruiting. Then you'll get another 3 or 4-star with him. If you get Fitzgerald, you don't land the other, and then you'll be fine.
You just can't have what happened last year. That's what I mean. Like, you can't. Last year, you missed out on your top 3 targets, all of whom you led for at one point or another.
Yeah.
The Meadows one, by far, hurt the most. You can't have that happen again and still keep your job. But yeah. So now that we're looking at this picture, the NFLU cursed photo that people have called it because of the same photo we had last year. Thomas Davis Jr. There was some worry that he might flip because Notre Dame, anytime they've had a kid committed that takes an OV to an SEC school, it doesn't end well. How do we feel? Do we feel he sticks, or are you still concerned a little bit?
I think he sticks. I don't have anything. He went to Georgia. He visited Georgia. So, Georgia's a heavy pool, but I feel like we would know by now if he was really starting to get the vibes to flip. That photo, how the weekend went, I feel like he's solid. I don't see him flipping.
Ben?
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance he flips. It's just it would take something extreme. There was nothing that came out after his weekend at Georgia. It's just and people compare it to the Duce Knight thing. Duce Knight would have had to compete. I don't want to take a strike at Duce Knight's character, but it makes more sense for Duce Knight to go to a school like Auburn, where there's not 2 quarterbacks in front of him who have a lot of eligibility left, and go compete for a spot there, compared to coming Notre Dame, where he'd have to compete against second-year CJ Carr, second-year Kenny Minchie, and compete there if he wants to start. And realistically, I could see that. That's completely fine. He wants to do it. It's not that bad about it. Even though Frabel tried to tell everyone in the group chat that Duce Knight was transferred to Notre Dame.
Yeah. We were
let's not discredit the linebacker room. That's arguably deeper than the
quarterback room. It is deeper.
Room.
Yeah. It is deeper, but that's a position where you could have more opportunities to make plays.
Yeah.
It's not like quarterback where you're switching your quarterback every single drive.
I think he replaces Snead when Snead leaves after this year, or potentially Bowen, depending how good of a season he has for the draft. I could see him getting a lot of playing time next year.
Yeah. But you could put Davis in on some packages, things like that. He could get a lot of snaps just in packages alone. Duce Knight was going to have to win a starting spot that probably does not change.
Yes.
So I don't think Duce Knight was dumb for doing what he did. To be honest with you, I would have done it if I was him, because Auburn.
Wow, you're a fake Notre Dame fan.
Well, no, I'm just saying I'm just saying, if I was that kid, I'd do it too. If Auburn's gonna offer me $4 million and every SEC broad south of the Mississippi, then I'd do it too. I'll still cheer for Notre Dame. If we play Notre Dame in Natty, I'm still throwing it to the corners. We're good.
So do we think the Thomas Davis Jr. stuff was what? That's because what I always thought was he knows he wants to go to Notre Dame. I do appreciate that it seems like from everything we've heard that his father is very, even though he's a Georgia legacy, is, hey, this is your decision. You go where you want to go, which to me deserves props because in today's landscape, that's very rare for parents to do that. As we saw with the Nico situation and other situations like that. Do we think this was just a, hey, out of respect for my dad, I'm going to take the OV and give, I think that's you, Sean.
I think that's you.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's fixed.
Okay.
Oh, it's Ben.
Is it me?
Is it
Yeah.
you? Might be coming off the table. Very good. I think it's a situation where it was like, hey, out of respect for my father, the school that got, did a lot for my family, I'm going to take the OV. Just give it a chance type thing.
Yeah. But he's all Irish.
Yeah. So I think we're all in agreement there.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see Thomas Davis. It would be insane. It would be Peyton Bowen level of flip from the way it's looking. It looks like he's completely Notre Dame.
I mean, Keon Keeley, very early on, looked the most Notre Dame in that draft. I mean, in that recruiting class. And then it just slowly changed, which he hasn't done anything in college, so I'm not upset about it anymore.
Like, realistically, this is going to be a thing that we're going to have to talk about until when they sign, December 12th?
Yeah.
It's going to be, because you're going to hear SEC fans talk about it, because they'll probably take another, unofficial visit to Georgia. Georgia will do something for his dad to get him on campus.
It's the landscape of college football. It's the new. I do think that with the new, the way that college football is transforming, something to talk about real quick. I think in terms of NFL, we're going to see less and less 20 to 21-year-olds going into the draft, and we're going to see more and more 23, 24-year-olds staying in college football because of NIL. And that's going to cause, unless you're like an NFL legacy, that's going to cause shorter NFL careers, etc. So it's going to be really interesting to see how NIL affects all of that, especially with Notre Dame's NIL, how they will utilize the NIL with either the talent they have on the team and recruiting. So,
So let's move on. We got Braden Robinson, and then we'll get into the, kind of the big three, so to speak. There's a lot of weird stuff coming out about the Braden Robinson recruitment. Feels like it's pretty much all over the place. To me, from my understanding, for the longest time, I thought Braden Robinson was like the second receiver on the board behind Kadon. And now it's like people don't want to, or not people, but it's more like people are just kind of forgetting. I know we have Bubba Frazier committed, but to me, Braden is that elite level speedster that Notre Dame's been looking for a while. I know he's 5'8". That's been a joke, so some people have made. But the amount of different stuff you're hearing, it's like he doesn't have a commitment date till July 20th. He's done with OVs. Why the big gap in commitment date from your last OV?
I mean, do you think we take 4 receivers?
I think we take 5. I think it's such a need.
I don't know. I think 4, and then you take a transfer.
Right? I was going to say, with the way college football is coming out, there's always an opportunity to go get a guy you need in the portal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, we already got Bubba. I think we get Fitz, and then let's just say we get Finley. And I mean, we're not going to land all 3 of Fitz, Finley. It's just there's going to be one that we don't get or gets left behind. But, Yeah, I mean, I think people are forgetting about this recruitment more. You mentioned size, speed, but I
Yeah.
think because the Fitzgerald name and the Finley name, and it's everyone's so focused on father, NFL, that this is kind of getting forgotten. I don't know if y'all agree, but
And maybe it's just me, but I think with the deficiencies in the receiver room, you got to take 5. Um,
I don't. The
after this year,
deficiencies though, Micah Gilbert, you got Cam Williams, you got guys
we
that
got to think this year. You lose Pauling after this season. You lose Fields after this season. If Great House has the year that a
we
lot
think
of people think
he'll be gone.
he could be gone, are you wanting to then lean on a room of Jordan Faison,
Yeah.
Micah Gilbert, Cam Williams? The only one in that room that would have played is Jordan Faison.
What about
Like
your favorite wide
realistically,
receiver?
if we look at this past year, we kind of did that. We like Jordan Faison, Bo Collins, and then Gray House at the end of the year. But Jordan Faison could be the leading receiver on a good team. It's just one of those things where he's not going to be better than Gray House and Fields. But yeah,
I love Great House. I mean, Faison. But I mean, you say that, but then what about the guys that are coming in? Fitzgerald can then play right away and have
Yeah.
3 years to play. Like, it just really depends on the situation. You don't want to rely on freshmen coming in, but if one steps up and has a Jeremiah Love type season or a KVA type season, then you got a starter for 3 years. Yeah, I'll take that over a 1-year transfer.
Where are we at with Cam? Is he not playing well in practices?
He's a lot better than he was his freshman year. The problem with him has been drops, reportedly. So he can get open. It's just
like every good wide receiver, they drop every single ball that's thrown at them. That's the problem.
Micah Gilbert's looked better.
He has consistently, yeah.
So we'll see how that. I think he'll be a starter
for me, I'm a big Braden Robinson fan, just because I don't think Notre Dame has that type of speed.
There's a slot receiver that you love that you haven't mentioned, that you interviewed.
Oh, Logan Saldate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Logan.
But no, with Braden, I for some reason this feels like one that we're not. I feel like we can't. How do I put this? We can get them. We can get all the receivers we want. We're in a decent area to be able to get all of them. It seems like I'm reading a lot about how Miami's very heavily involved in it, and I could definitely see him because Miami's receiving room this year or recruiting class this year isn't that good. I don't think it is.
The receiver wise, no.
Yeah, so and
they
of
might
course
get Tristan Keys, but that's it.
Yeah, that's something you have to look at every single time with these guys. A lot of them want to play early. A lot of them just want to get. Yeah, they currently don't have a single receiver committed as of right now.
Are you gonna put a golden brick in it all right now, Ben?
to him to Miami?
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, here's my thing, right? And watching his film, I get the size because he's 5'8", and to me, I think this comes down to I think Braden wants to be at Notre Dame. The problem is his commitment date is so far that Notre Dame will probably be filled up by then.
At least with 4.
Yeah, and so I just think that I don't know what the significance is of the July 20th date. Some of these kids do it for their birthday. Some of these kids do it for a parent's birthday. Some of them do it for a relative that passed away. I don't know. But to me, I feel like if he knows he wants to be at Notre Dame, you're done with OVs. Why not just pull the trigger?
Well, I mean, it's like a Duce Knight when he committed so early because he knew Bear was likely going to take his spot, and he took it before Bear could commit. I mean, that's another situation why maybe it's not Notre Dame. Maybe he doesn't know yet, and he just has that set commitment date.
Yeah.
I think that it depends. If we land Finley, we won't get him. If we land Finley, we do get him, kind of thing.
Okay. All right. Now let's get into the big 3. The first one we'll talk about is Kari Adams. The one that, for me, I've always thought Notre Dame's been a player for him, but not necessarily. Like, I never really ever thought that we would get him, let alone have the opportunity to get him and Joey O'Brien together. But how do you guys feel about how this is trending?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not like, I think you're more confident than I am. I'm still a little weary.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Ben?
Big thing with Adams is, of course, Penn State seems like they're in the lead by most 247 sports predictions. Seems like Penn State's in the lead for a lot of it. At the end of the day, like, he's a guy we really want. He's a guy who's going to do a lot for us. It's one of those things where we talk about, like, oh, imagine if we gave Mickens, like we talked about, imagine if we gave Mickens a top 5-star corner. He's not 5-star, but he's ranked 36th in the nation, so he's decently close to it. So it's one of those guys, great talent. If we get him, that's a great thing, but I don't think it's detrimental to our whole recruiting class if we don't get him. We're getting a lot of great defensive guys, and there's other guys who can make up for it as well.
Mike Mickens can make Ryan into a All-Pro.
Yeah, he probably could. He could turn Ben into the next Sauce Gardner.
Bro, dude, they made like Xavier Watts came in as a freaking wide receiver, and he somehow was able to become a top safety. We had Benjamin Morrison.
I think the biggest thing is you see like Ben Morrison freshman, Leonard Moore freshman, Christian Gray was always a solid recruit. We haven't had any Cam Hart. He made Cam Hart, who was not a corner to begin his career, into a solid NFL corner.
Yeah, So I kind of want to get everybody's thoughts. Like, do you guys think we land him or not? Because I'm in the boat of, from what I've heard, especially after the OV weekend, Kari and O'Brien are very close. Kari's decision is heavily more weighed by what JOB does than it is what JOB's decision is based off of what Kari does. So obviously O'Brien's commitment is Friday. If that's true and they want to play together, do you think that's enough for Kari to say, all right, well, if Joey's going there, I'm playing with him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if that happens, it's a coin flip realistically. But if that happens, I think we do get both. I
think we land one or we land none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think we land both or we land none.
Yeah, it's a package deal. Well, realistically, you look at who we're both looking at. Like, they basically have the same exact top three. Yeah. It's Oregon, Notre Dame, Penn State. Well, I guess O'Brien, he has
Clemson in there too, but
Clemson. But Adams, it's Oregon, Notre Dame, Penn State. So, like, it feels like they're both pretty similar. But sometimes there's also kids who don't want to play with guys they played with in high school for certain reasons, or maybe they just don't agree. But I don't see it in this situation. It would be crazy if that was the case.
Well, I think so. These two aren't teammates. I know Grayson, McHugh, and O'Brien.
Played each other. Friends in high school.
Yeah. If we do, like, and we'll get to the Joey O'Brien stuff here in a minute. What would the implications be in terms of where this recruiting class ranks in the last 15 years if you get Joey O'Brien and Kari Adams?
I think this class finishes likely as like between the 6th, maybe 5th, but I would say 6th to 8th ranked class.
Just adding those two?
Yeah, I mean, because I think you'd look at the talent blue chip ratio we already have, and then what we're going to get on top of that. When you add those two, that's going to jump up. Like, I think we'll finish the year as a top 10 class, but if you land those two, it bumps us up 1 or 2 ranks.
I think the worst rank we'll get if we land both of those two and we land the guy, like if we land Fitzgerald and Finley and we still keep Davis Jr. Come signing day, I think the lowest rank we can get is probably an 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I could realistically see him being possibly a 4. I don't think we'll get into the top 3, top 2, top 1s.
No.
Because usually those are taken by the schools who just farm the 5 stars. They 5 stars or bust. It's usually taken by those schools. So I don't think we'll be in there.
I've only seen top 5 once, and that was before I even watched recruiting. And I just look back and I'm like, wow, Michael Floyd and Teo, and it was like a top 5 class that year. But I don't see us landing a top 5 class.
Would it be the greatest class? Would it be the greatest class Notre Dame's ever had?
It'd be the best. I think it would be the best potential class. I think pure players' abilities, I think it'd be the best out of all of them that we've had in a while.
I think best depth. I think we would get a solid player at each position that one day could play or start. Solid depth. I don't know if I'm going to say best of all time yet.
If Joey O'Brien gets a pick 6 in a national championship game and Curry Adams pops the ball out, then yeah, it's the best class.
See, I'm thinking from just a pure ranking standpoint. I think if you get both of them, it's by far and away the best DB class we've had. Like just pure DBs.
The Christian Gray class was pretty solid. I think that was Christian Gray, and it was either Morrison or Schuler was also in that class for DB. I mean, that was.
I think it was Schuler.
Yeah, that was pretty solid.
But based off of star rankings, it would be just because Joey is a 5-star, Kari's basically a 5-star, and then you would add in Aiden Pouncey. You'd add in who else do we have already in the class? Chaston Smith. I'm just talking pure DBs. Pure DBs.
DBs.
Yeah.
What I'm interested to see is this going to be a signing day that is dramatic, or, to be honest, last year's signing day was boring in a good way? Is this going to be a boring signing day? But I feel like with all these NFL Legends kids that we're looking at, it won't be.
So CNAP said in the comments he thinks if we get Kari and JOB, top 5.
We'll see.
I think top 5 is I think for us to get top 5.
It's so hard to get a top 5 class. It's like that's the reason why SEC schools were dominating it, because they could just throw bags of money in McDonald's bags and just let go. I
think for you to get top 5, you have to hope that one, you get O'Brien, Finley, Adams, and Grayson, those guys, right, and Fitzgerald. And then you have to hope that Kari Adams gets bumped up to a 5-star. Joey O'Brien stays as a 5-star.
I think we needed Noah Grubbs to be invited to the Elite 11 too.
Yeah, which he should, but
he should have.
It's rigged. It's all rigged.
It's rigged.
It's all rigged. Realistically, these classes that we've had in the Marcus Freeman, they're constantly good. Lowest we've been is what, a 15th rank or 12th rank?
Yeah,
under
12.
Freeman.
12, yeah.
2023 we're 12. Yeah, they've been consistently good. This is something really good to look at. Even when you look at the teams who, for example, Michigan, even though Ryan wants to scream, it doesn't count. They cheated the win. Look at them. They recruited very well leading up to their natty year. They just had to find the correct guys to go in there and play those positions. So this is really good for us seeing these guys come and commit, and we're getting these commitments like this.
I do think that our national championship window is going to depend on the next year or two. Once we start getting into the 2027, 2028 schedules, obviously you want to play these teams, but playing the Alabama, Clemson, and Texas all in the same year, that's not easy. So we're getting into I want to win it now while things are a little easier. So we'll see what happens. The window, do y'all think the window is the closest it's ever been since 1988, or do you think that
it's going to be a short window, a long-term window? How do you all feel for the national championship window?
I think it's the next 2 to 3 years is our national championship window, personally.
You know my opinion for next year. I mean, I am a firm believer. I think this team is 100% better than next year, and I think is a better team and will make the playoffs. However, I just do not see in the current college football era of a team making a 16-game run 2 years in a row. That's just my opinion. I don't know if they're tired or they could be motivated and want, obviously, but I just don't see. I do believe, and I want them to, but I'm just saying it's going to be very hard. This is going to be the hardest playoff to repeat. Georgia repeated in a 14 playoff. Now it's a 12-team playoff, right?
So I personally think Notre Dame could win it this year. I think Notre Dame is one of those top 4 teams, top 5 teams that can win the championship this season. I think it depends on how CJ Carr plays. I think if CJ Carr is who we all think he's supposed to be or was to be out of college or out of high school, there's no reason Notre Dame can't win the national championship this year with the roster they have. Because I don't think Ohio State got worse. Oregon got worse. Penn State is the only team from last year that didn't really get worse. Texas got worse.
I think they are a national championship contender, but their coaching is going to keep.
Yeah, I just don't think. Yeah, I'm the same way. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah. I think the big thing is that we gotta know this. It's hard to win a natty. It's very hard. It's hard to make a natty. So it's not I don't think it's a failed season if we make the semifinals. I think that's a pretty good season. Yeah. Of course, at the end of the day, the goal is to win a natty. But who knows? Maybe we'll go out, lose week 4 to Purdue, and just have the whole NIU run again. Just win every game. I just put it out there. Just put it into existence. I think that the window closes if CJ Carr is as good as what we think he is. That's our window. His career is our window. His Notre Dame career is our window. We can't fumble it like we did with Ian Book, where Ian Book was basically even though he's not an NFL level quarterback, realistically, he was probably the best player in Notre Dame on offense most of the time, and he would be able to hit his players. Finding a good quarterback's hard. So I think that's our window is the years of CJ Carr.
Yeah, I love Riley Leonard, but if we can make it with Riley Leonard, why can't we win it with?
If we can make it with Riley, I think we could win 6 games with Ryan Frabel at quarterback. If we can make it with Riley Leonard. Just hand the ball off.
If we can make a national championship, and I tried telling this to people that are fans of other teams, Notre Dame made a national championship with a running back playing quarterback. Love Riley to death, but we could not throw the ball. And we had no vertical pass game.
Respect on his name in that national championship, he was throwing dots.
I think, and I have an opinion about that. I think it's not on our boy Riley Leonard. I think it's on Mike Denbrock. I think Mike Denbrock needed to trust in Riley Leonard to make those throws way more early on. In that game at least, we weren't going to beat Ohio State running the ball, and Mike Denbrock knows that. It just felt like
you make that field goal, you're down 8 after the field goal with 30 seconds left, or you're down 5 with the ball with 2 minutes left.
Yeah,
right. I think the biggest mistake was putting Christian Gray alone on an island with one of the best wide receiver prospects of all time.
I hate to tell Bengals fans this, but Al Golden got cooked by basically an NFL level offensive coordinator. So Al Golden, he's a dog. He's a great college coordinator, but he got cooked by an NFL level offensive coordinator. So, we'll see how it goes.
So while we talk about our last, are we done with the recruiting?
Oh, got 2 more, and then we're done.
Okay. Cool, because we did want to bring up to.
Let's get this run through this real quick. So, Grayson McHugh, obviously the teammate of Joey O'Brien, from LaSalle College in Pennsylvania. There's some stuff that's been put out that I can't say on here, obviously, but it's looking really good for Notre Dame in this one. Thoughts on Grayson? Thoughts on his recruitment? What do you guys thought? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think we land him.
I think that once we land him, our offensive line class is pretty much complete. And I think that he could be – you remember Emil Wagner was a surprise because no one thought he would commit to Notre Dame during the commitment, but I think it could be like a late surprise out of nowhere. Like, oh, wow, I didn't think this guy 2 weeks ago was going to end up at Notre Dame, right? So I think it could be something on that aspect, and then Emil Wagner comes in as a junior and is a starter. So I think it's a very similar situation for me on that aspect. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I think this is a lock. If we lose them, then I say all Texas fans in Penn State. If we lose in Texas or Penn State, go to the casino, put 100 on green, and just let it ride. Like, I don't see a way. I don't know. We've seen some stuff, but I just don't. He looks too much like a Notre Dame guy. 6'7", offensive tackle. We breed those kids. Like, you can't look at Joe Alt. Like, you can't see how Joe Alt is in the NFL and be like, I don't want to go Notre Dame. They don't produce. Like Joe Alt, Quentin Nelson. I think this kid's gonna make a smart decision and go to Notre Dame. And I heard he had an amazing visit. I heard he connected very well with the other recruits.
Well, you know what's crazy about it is he just started playing tackle recently.
Yeah,
he's an out of position guy. He was a D tackle or like a D end. And to me, if you're like an out of position guy, if you're a guy like Grayson that's 6'7", but you're athletic enough to play D end, rush quarterbacks, like he's chasing down quarterbacks in some of his highlights, and you can play offensive lineman. You just need to get the body mass right, work on your technique. How does that not correlate to Joe Alt? Joe Alt was a freaking tight end who was skinny as all get out when he first got to campus.
Yeah, that's why I don't think he plays right away. He just doesn't have tackle experience yet. Only reason Joe Alt did was because there was 2 other injuries before him, and he was able to come in right away. So I do think it's similar on that aspect. But
is it crazy to say that, like, I think he's got 5-star tackle potential? It just so happens that he didn't start playing tackle till this past season.
Like, I think next year's class he'd be a 5-star.
Yeah, probably. Well, the big thing is with tackles is they have to be, it's early on type of things. It's not something that you can just, like, for example, like we all hear the Michael Orr story. He played his senior year and he got recruited. That's not real. Like, you have to play a decent. You have to play a decent amount, and it's a lot of when they come out with the rankings, they have to it's got to be what they see, and maybe he gets up to a 4. Is he a 4-star right now or a 3-star?
He's a 4-star, yeah.
Is he a 4-star? I think he'll stay at 4-star this year. I don't see him moving up to a 5-star.
Oh no! If he was next year, if it was next year's class,
if he was a 2027 kid, definitely he could be 100%, 100%, because that's repetition.
What is he, like 180 right now? 200?
He's 264 nationally on.
Yeah, I think he finishes like 180.
Yeah.
Let me check his weight real quick.
For offensive tackles, he's 31st.
He is
247.
And his weight right now. So his weight right now, he's 6'7", 280. So he's got to get his weight up. He's got to put some more muscle mass on.
Yeah, I remember seeing his photo, and I was like, he's an offensive lineman?
Yeah.
Man, dude, we're the same weight, but he's 6'7". I'm 6 foot. The fuck? God, why couldn't you give me that height? I could be playing tackle in every day.
All right, let's get into the final guy. Obviously, the biggest one, teammates with Grayson, the 5-star Joey O'Brien. Notre Dame's been burned so many damn times with 5-stars that they lead for, evidently. I don't know how to feel. It feels like it's Notre Dame, Oregon, Penn State. Clemson's kind of hanging on by a thread. How do you guys see this playing out?
Boom, Notre Dame lands a 5-star talent.
Ben?
I think Notre Dame lands him. What do you think, Ben?
I think this kid is going to be one of the best corners we're going to see in college football someday. And I think Notre Dame knows it. And I think they know that with Mickens at the helm, assuming he stays, coaching him up, I think they know that he could be possibly like the best corner that we have in college football. If we play him at corner, he might be a safety. Is that what I'm hearing too?
Yeah.
He'll be safety.
But so best backfield. Jesus Christ, I can't talk.
Best defensive back.
Defensive back. Best defensive back college football has. He looks really good.
He plays as a freshman. Like he'll rotate in like KVA.
I hope. I'm also seeing a lot. He wants to play both sides of the ball, which I'm someone. Sean, you're gonna learn a lot. Ryan hears me bitch about it all the time in the Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
I am not a type of person that likes the guys who want to play on both sides of the ball from day one. I'm okay with them earning it, but I'm hearing that he is making it a part of his recruitment, which if we get him, that's fine. I just don't like that type of stuff because I think that every player should have to earn every position. 3 stars can be 5 stars any day of the week. Just matters where they play. So I think this is a guy who we're gonna get. I also think this is a guy who we might, if we even don't get him, I think there's a chance we could flip him later on. I still think this is a guy we're not gonna know until December where he actually goes.
I've heard that Notre Dame's open to letting him play both sides, but I think that's more of a, hey, we'll let you, but when you get to campus and you're kind of like Jadon Blair, when Jadon Blair got to campus and everybody's like, man, this guy's so tall, so talented. They let him try out at receiver. After like a day or two, hey, Jadon, stay in the safety. I think that's kind of what it is. But I do think O'Brien, you see his receiver highlights for what Notre Dame has had at the receiver position. I'm just saying.
You need to perfect being good at one position before you can think about something else.
That's the thing.
He could be a Travis Hunter. We don't know. Legitimately. Travis Hunter was doing it at the high school level. He did it at the HBCU level. People are like, you're not going to be able to do that at a D1 level. He did it at a D1 level. Now, was he elite at either receiver or corner? No. He was really good.
Here's the problem with being a receiver or corner. You're not getting the breaks. So I think that's got to be another thing come day one that's going to be talked about no matter where he goes. If he goes to Oregon, Penn State, Clemson, or Notre Dame, it's got to be talked about day one. Are you going to be able to go out there and play every single snap? Are you going to be able, what did Travis Hunter get this year? It was over 1,000 snaps total.
Yeah.
Are you going to be, it wasn't 1,000, but I don't even remember. It was a lot.
Plus,
are you going to be able to do that?
Playoffs compared to Colorado?
Yeah, that too. He's going to have to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you perfect one position before you.
Well, I'm saying because Notre Dame's DB room, right? It's already stacked. So there's no guarantee that he's going to, he's going to play. But there's no guarantee that he's going to, you can't rotate him, right?
Well, so he's going to be a freshman. Who's going out the year he comes in as a freshman?
Don Schuler's probably gone after this year at the strong safety position.
Yeah.
Stroman's gone. Who else is gone?
That's it.
That's it.
There's room for there. He could definitely compete for a spot. Or just playing time at least.
It would have to be at the free safety position or the strong safety, because from everything we're hearing, Luke Talich and Blair have got that free safety spot.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think he can play strong safety with the size? I think for a strong safety.
He's coming out 185 right now?
Yeah.
He can add on 15 pounds once he gets here.
Well,
100%.
Who's to say that he can't come in and, Xavier Watts, whenever, he would come down and play a little nickel, or he would play a little, he'd rush a little. Who's to say he can't be that gadget? Sneed needs a linebacker, obviously, but use him in certain situations like a Sneed or like a Maurice Leafau or something that he can't play all over. Or who was that player that was with Clemson that played every position?
Isaiah
Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons.
You say he can't be a gadget.
We can get him in on defense day one. The offensive side of the ball, 50-50, I could definitely see him getting opportunities because, he's fast. He's tall and he's fast. There's no reason not to play him if he wants to play there.
And he's
we have
damn
the
near.
opportunities for it.
He's damn near like he's. What is he listed at? 6'4"? There's no way he's not like closer to like 6'6", 6'5". Like he
maybe
you know what's
6'5".
crazy?
Maybe
Like,
6'5".
Penn
That
State,
dude listed at 6'3". Oh my, he's
Penn
easily
State.
7 foot.
No, let me break this real quick.
Yo, put
Think
him on
about
the
this.
court. Put him on the basketball court. We need rebounds.
Penn State. Think about this. Penn State is wanting him to play tight end.
Well, yeah, because Penn State wanted Tyler Warren to play linebacker when they got him. Like, they're psychotic. What's happening?
Oh God. Oh, did we lose Sean for a second? You there? Sean?
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know. Your thing blacked out.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay.
It's not. Frabel probably messed up something. That's usually how it goes. That's trade school for nothing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So let's
but
get to the
before
final
show
topic.
ends, I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, one player on each side of the ball. It cannot be somebody that was a starter last year.
Shit.
Start the season.
I love.
One breakout player from offense, defense did not start last year. Go.
Yeah, I'm not going first.
I'll go.
Frabel, you're the host. You got it.
All right, I'll go ahead and go. All right.
Frabel, dude, you should have written this. I know you wrote this stuff down. You're like, is this a good option? You probably asked your wife before
Yeah, I
this.
did.
Hey, is this okay?
Yeah, I did actually.
He asked his cat. He said, "Hey, is this a good pick?"
So obviously one is going to be KVA because KVA did not start last year. So I get away with that one. Offense, as Sean is doing something. Offense, going Kedron Young. I think Kedron Young's going to be, I think we'll see at the end by midpoint of this year, he could take Aeneas Williams over for that RB3 role. Because I think Kedron is that damn good. Man.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go. Frabel's the cop out, like it's a competition.
Yeah.
Freaking, God dang it, Frabel. Didn't start last year. Bryce Young, he didn't start, did he?
He didn't start to begin last
I
year.
could definitely.
Not to begin last year.
He looks like he's getting bigger, which is good. And we saw how good he did in the playoffs. His biggest thing he's gonna have to learn. Yeah, I make this joke all the time because of what happened in Georgia game. When the ball leaves the punter's foot, you cannot murder the punter. Okay, we can't do it. We can't have one of our best guys keep doing that crap. He did twice, and one of the times
No,
he
he did
definitely
it three
should.
times.
Oh, wait, he did the last time he definitely should have been called for roughing the punter. But,
he did it because it was running into the
all of
kicker?
them are running into the kicker.
Yeah.
One
With
of them
the-
was definitely roughing.
Yeah, last time was definitely should have been called a roughing.
And the
I'm
thing
amazed
was,
they didn't do it.
I remember Freeman was like, when the penalty's like, dude, just calm down. Like, he's like, I want to get out there and I want to hit somebody, man. It's like you can't.
So who's your offense again, Ben?
Oh, I haven't said my offense yet.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Frabel took a cop. Should I say CJ Carr? Because like it's pretty obvious.
That would be, yeah.
Or can I say Michael? Can I say Mikel Fields?
No.
I can't say Fields.
You can't
He
say
did
it,
start-
sir.
He did start last year. What do you mean? I'll probably realistically, if we win the Natty, it's CJ Carr. It's just the ability CJ Carr gives us. He's gonna have. I don't think it's gotta be a week one thing. I've openly said it. It wouldn't shock me if we don't see anything like amazingly good out of CJ Carr until after the USC game, just because those first 6 games are such good games. Go to Miami. Should be the cakewalk of Purdue. If we lose, clip it. We'll come back. Have Texas A&M. They want to get revenge against
Boise
us.
State, Arkansas.
Boise State. I keep hearing it's a trap game. I don't think it's a trap game, but they're a good team. Arkansas and then USC. After that, it's a pretty Notre Dame schedule. Like,
Yeah.
whole bunch of should be cakewalks. Some good defenses, but should be cakewalks. And who knows? Maybe Steve Angeli will come out on senior night and just ruin everything. Win the game. Who knows? Him and who's the other guy we lost to Syracuse?
Oh, I thought you were saying Steve Angeli would come out senior night to win for Notre Dame. I was like, I'm sorry to tell
Well,
you, he
I don't know. He might throw a pick six. Chris Tyree had Notre Dame in mind during Notre Dame's senior night last year, dropping that kick.
I felt bad. Chris Tyree's like one of the most excited for recruits that I've been. I'm going to agree with you on offense. I'm going to go CJ Carr. Our season rides on him, and it's the easy choice, but it is the obvious and best choice. If he does not start this year, I'm disappointed. I do not want Minchie to start. I am not the biggest fan of Minchie. I love his athleticism and his running ability, but I think he's got a great arm too. He's just not there yet, accuracy. And I think CJ Carr has all the tools, and we need to have a quarterback that can be a multi-year starter, and that's Carr. So, yeah, he's going to break out. Like you said, the schedule's hard at the beginning of the year. He's got the weapons. He's got the O-line coming back. He's got arguably the best running back room in the country. You got some solid – if he fails, he can only blame himself, right? He's got everything around him he needs. So, defensively, because you said that it has to be someone that didn't start week 1 last year, I'm going to go with Leonard Moore. I think
that's okay.
What's with the cop-outs, guys? Come on, let's put some faith in some bench players. Some plug-and-play guys. Come on.
I was going to say KVA or something, but yeah, I think that Leonard Moore is obviously going to step up and have a great season this year. If I had to not pick an obvious choice for the whole team, one just pure unsexy pick, I'm going to say Eli Raridan.
That's a good one.
I think that he's going to have a really solid. Notre Dame hasn't had a tight end not get drafted that started week 1 since like 2005. I think he's going to have a really good season.
He's going to have some opportunity because I don't think we're going to go away from the needing the tight end to perform. So he'll definitely have a giant chance of being good this year. So what's next, Ravel? You're gonna say your underdog player of the year is gotta be Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna say his sponsor before that. What's our sponsor for this episode today? Is it
Hims?
Yeah.
We don't have one.
We have a sponsor. We're sponsored by nothing. Awesome. Come on, you're the pro here, dude. Like, how'd you not get a sponsor?
Okay, real quick. I do want to shout out because it's been fun doing this. We'll get better at this as we go because we just haven't worked together as a collective unit before. But I want to say thank you to Mark Rogers, Voice of College Football, for having us on, giving us the ability to do this show. Again, today's been great. We're going to be back next week, Tuesday, same time. Once we get to that mid-July point, we'll be doing our shows later, so it'll be easier for everybody. But we got, 269 people watching right now for the first show. Like, that's awesome. Guys, if you guys love Irish football, you love us talking, make sure you go like, subscribe, share live on the Voice of College Football Notre Dame YouTube channel. And, I appreciate everybody tuning in. That's pretty much it, guys. Great first show. And, I appreciate Ben. I appreciate you hopping on. Sean, it's good to see you. Anyways, guys, we'll see you guys next week. This has been Notre Dame Primetime Live on the Voice of College Football Notre Dame YouTube channel. I'm your host, Ryan Furvel, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Go Irish.
Go Irish.